think that in actuality, Mark, if you were to have a game like that right before signing day, some people would think you had a couple flips. We didn't. Every committed player for the University of Miami signed. So there's no February. I mean, there's 4 other spots for us, yes. But we've never, I don't remember the last time something like that has happened to where we didn't have anybody, an SEC or Big Ten team come and swoop our best player out late. James Williams or Leonard Taylor doesn't end up somewhere at Georgia or Bama or Florida, because they're the SEC team in state that gave us problems. It makes me happy. It truly makes me happy because it shows that we're taking the steps forward in certain positions. I don't know if in a regular season, if we sign a Leonard Taylor, due to what happened worldwide, a lot of players had to stay home. And it built a lot of the relationships that were already built. And Coach Benedict speaks about this. Relationships that were built had to stay that way because it was just over FaceTime and Zoom. You couldn't come on campus, and if you did, it would be on your own merit. You maybe drive up or down to Coral Gables and just talk to the staff a little bit. But even then, they weren't supposed to have much interaction. And I don't think that there was a lot of interaction physically. But Coach Benedict speaks about how James Williams' relationship goes back to 2017. And he saw James Williams when he was at Pace as a true freshman, starting on varsity as a freshman. And he says those are the type of players that have to go to Miami if we want to ascend to where we really want to be, of the elite in college football. So you bring in, and then not only that, you go get the number 1 or 2 defensive tackle in the country, and Leonard Taylor. Now, of course, we would have loved to match him up with Mason Smith, but a lot of us were not sad or mad about it. We made his top 4, Mark, in the hunt with teams like LSU, Bama, and Georgia. Most people wouldn't think Miami would be in the same sentence as a lot of those teams as of late, man, especially for a lineman and a defensive tackle at that, not like an offensive tackle who can come in and just, be a plug-and-play guy. So he ends up picking LSU, which a lot of us favored. He was real hometown-centric and very close with his family. He wanted to stay home, and that's fine. But on to the people who signed with us. Of the 21 committed players and 21 signees, 13 of them are early enrollees and will be, in a month from now, official Miami Hurricanes. You talk about laying a foundation to springboard off of. That's one of the biggest things. And it's some of our best players who are early enrollees. The only one that is excluded out of this list is James Williams because he's a private school player right now, so he can't enroll early. But Leonard Taylor, 6'4", 285 pounds. Supposedly, Mark, he's pushing 305, 310. Supposedly. So he gained some great weight in this offseason. Early enrollee. Jake Garcia, the QB. Number 2 pocket passer, number 5 QB overall. Picks Miami, early enrollee, signs with Miami. This is the type of stuff that if you want to take that next step, you want to build a culture, especially in the weight room, and learning your systems. Because, you could do, some coaches have done this stuff. I know you're supposed to do this. But, they'll send a playbook or send a workout. And you don't wait until June or July when you get here. You're supposed to know a lot of it, and they'll quiz you over the phone and stuff like that. But it's nothing like having them there for spring practices and spring ball, actually lifting with your strength and conditioning, building a culture and camaraderie around the team, and adding yourself to the program. And man, Romello Brinson, wide receiver, 6'2", out of Miami Northwestern. One of the best guards in the country. Big baby, Lawrence Seymour, 6'2", 300 pound, number 10 guard in the country, signed early enrollee. Elijah Arroyo, 6'4", 210 pound, number 9 tight end in the country, out of Texas, signed, committed, early enrollee. These are the things, you start stacking that type of stuff on top of each other, adding them to the numbers of the young men that you already have on your team right now. That's how you start taking better steps forward in recruitment-wise. And I can go down the list a little more. Chase Smith, 6'3", 190-pound athlete coming here to play striker. And if you turn on his film, he plays nothing but like wide receiver and free safety running back. Huge athlete. He can stretch the field as an offensive player. And you're adding that team speed to defense. That's huge because we lack a lot of speed on the defensive side of the ball. A whole bunch of 4.56s and 4.6s. And north of that, we don't have much of your 4.4s and things of that nature anywhere, whether defensive back, striker, anywhere on the Miami defense. So adding his athleticism and speed is huge. One of my favorite players, Cam Kinchins, 5'11", 200-pound safety out of Miami Northwestern. This young man, a leader. And that's the other thing is leadership is something that has to be earned year to year. But when you have a player who played a little bit of JV and all the way through from a true sophomore up, has been a starter, and a defensive back core at a powerhouse like Miami Northwestern, at corner, at nickel, at free, at strong, and coaches just rave about his personality and how he galvanizes and everyone turns to him offensive, defensively. Those type of young men you want to add to your team. And now, you start racking a couple of those, now you got the leaders amongst leaders, once they kind of branch off from there. And that's when you start talking about your Ohio States, your Alabamas, where you got like the top tier, not only physically, not only mentally, but leadership-wise. And that's what changes a program to ascend. And it'll take some time to get them recycled in, especially because Miami can bring in talent, but can Miami afford elite coaches is the other side of the conversation. And, the best of the best, Mark, have both. So, you kind of got to teeter it which one you want to really deal with, at the University of Miami. So, offensive tackle, Michael McLaughlin, 6'8", 290 pounds. Can I just get a couple of those inches? I would have loved to have been 6'5", Mark. Good. 6'3". I'll take 6'3". 6'8". Whew. Good God. Tyler Johnson, 6'2", 200-pound. Last name sounds familiar. That is Jaquan Johnson's little brother, a legacy player. So it's really good to bring him in, coming in to play linebacker. Thomas Davis, 6 foot, 235-pound edge rusher, moving into the linebacker position. Khalil Brantley, 6'2", tight end. He's more of your Brevin Jordan type player, so that's really good. And he's super energetic and adamant to get out there. And I love, he's a great follow on Twitter. Deshaun Troutman, 6'1", 205-pound inside linebacker. More of your head hunter, but he's quicker than the linebackers that we've had recently. So he's a lot quicker than B.J. Jennings and Shaq Quarterman, but he's still big and stout enough to come downhill. He's pushing about 225 right now. So that's really good. Hopefully we can get him on the other end of 230, 240. And, of course, Jake Garcia, man. Jakey. He was a player that you admire from afar. You kind of didn't want to buy into the hype just yet. But it's exciting to know that he's a Cane. When he decommitted, even when he decommitted from USC and then came down, well, he actually came to Georgia first, then decommitted from USC. So there was a lot of, groundwork being laid. And it made you kind of want to I want to get it. I want to feel it. And then he actually threw up the U, man. And it was a great feeling to see him do it finally and be a part of the family as a whole. And I just can't wait to see if we can truly do something different, Mark, because year in, year out, we come on, whether it's me or anyone else, whether we're on Twitter or publicly on YouTube, always say, this class is different. I love this class. This class is going to bring the U back. And for the first year, Mark, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I really like this class. And I hope that we keep a staff that can develop these young men. Because, yeah, there's a lot of talent in here. But I don't want to look back 3-4 years from now and feel bad that we didn't develop Leonard Taylor. We didn't develop James Williams. Romello Brinson's going in the 5th round. We don't want to do that to these young men anymore. And that's where my focus is. Hopefully the development side of this really gets a lot better at Miami.
Chuck C., we appreciate the super chat. Happy Thursday, Mark. I'm stuck at home in a snowstorm in Utah this afternoon, so able to catch some. Williams will be a striker to help the linebacker holes and the big holes.
There's a lot of talk about that, Mark. I mean,
Yep.
6'5", 218 at strong safety in a too high system. But who am I to tell him what he can't do? And at the end of the day, Mark, a player like that, you get him in your program and figure it out from there. I mean, if he goes to Bama, that's what they'll do. And I don't think that these coaches tell him what he wants to hear and then bring him in and do the opposite. If he comes here and thank you, Brandon Tooks, for the kind words. If he comes here and he struggles at safety, you don't think that he would, all right, coach, I can move closer to the ball. Or if he comes here and thrives, then leave him there. He's doing it. He's doing his due diligence. At the end of the day, we have to add him to the program, get him working and developing him, and see where we can go, and then do the best for him in the future. I can't say what that is right now because, Mark, I don't know. We don't know that he's been playing safety his whole life. That's his biggest thing. I'm a safety. Okay. We're going to give you a chance to prove it on Green Tree practice field. And we'll give you a chance to prove it for the next 4 years in the ACC Coastal. And if it doesn't work out, you have the option to move wherever you want. Go to striker, go to weak side, go to middle. At that point, Mark, he's on your roster. He's an active, eligible member of your roster. Figure it out.